All right, how's it going? I didn't see any videos anywhere on how to swap heads in a Markbass combo, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I bought this combo, which has a Combo Head II in it. This is a 2018 Indonesian combo. I bought a vintage Goldline 500. It's a 2023, also Indonesia. And then I bought a Little Mark Tube 800, which was a 2024 model. I bought them all used off Guitar Center / Musician's Friend. Paid for shipping to get to me. I've got a Musician's Friend or a Guitar Center that's about 2 hours away. So it was a good use of that shipping money for me to get 3 different heads here that I could compare and choose the one I want. And then take 2 of them back to Guitar Center. You have currently, as of February 2025, you have a 45-day, no questions asked return. And since they're used products, you know, they don't come with a box. They have, you know, some markings on them and stuff. So use them respectfully and then return the ones you don't want. I think it's a good way to go. I spent about $100 in shipping to get those 3 here, and so I sacrificed that money. But it also gave me the time with 3 different heads that actually had 3 very different feels and sounds to them to be able to make a choice. And so I chose the vintage head. I'm running the 121 combo, and then I've got a New York 121 to go under it. So the 2x12 at 4 ohms is what I'm running. I liked I was definitely looking for a preamp tube, and I even considered the Fender Bassman hybrid 800 and 500 as well, but decided to stick with the smaller, more lightweight combo with Markbass. I really dug the Little Mark Tube 800, but as soon as I plugged in the vintage, the feel and tone was very different. I know it's got a different preamp tube in it and some different settings, and it immediately felt better to me. It was kind of a no-brainer. I tend to run my gain high, like around 1 or 2 o'clock, really more about 2 o'clock. And on the 800 watt amp, I could only get my volume up, and I'm in a rather large 3-car garage, and I play with a cover band, 80s cover band with a loud drummer. And I honestly, on the 800 watt Little Mark Tube, could only get my volume up to about a 2, or I guess about 8 o'clock on the clock dial. And I was very loud. So I definitely, you know, people will say you're gonna wish you had that headroom. Not me. I'm good to go with the 500 watts. It's more than enough. I've been through Ampeg Portaflex 500 and 800 before with the 2 Portaflex cabs. I've been through a Mesa D800 Plus with a 15 and a 12-inch cab. I got the Fender Adam Clayton ACB all-tube 50 watt amp, which has been my favorite amp I have ever owned, but it's 60 pounds and just impractical for my particular case. I then went to 2 Rumble combos, a 200 and a 500, just looking for simplicity, but those didn't have any real feel to them. To me, they were just very boomy and bassy and couldn't do much about it. And so that's when I arrived at Markbass, and so far I'm very, very happy. We'll see how long it lasts. That's the way I work. But anyway, this is the one I'm going to keep. I was going to keep the Combo Head II as a backup amp, but honestly, this thing's in excellent condition, and I know somebody can use it. I've never had a backup amp before, and I do run a Sans amp on my board, so I can always keep the DI out on that as an emergency backup straight to the board. In an emergency that will, in all likelihood, never happen. Anyway, so that's where we're at. So I'm going to pull the Combo Head II. This is equivalent to a Little Mark III. It's 500 watts. It's got the line-out adjustment on it, the VLE and the VPF as well. So it's a really nice head. It works beautifully. I wouldn't mind keeping it, but I've got some other things on my shopping list, so that's what we're going to do. Anyway, to get this operation started, first I'm going to unhook the internal speaker. So there's no cords hooked up to the amp. And then I'm going to remove on the back here these 4 Allen screws. I think this is a 3mm I read somewhere. This Allen is not marked, but it fits. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pull those, and they're not super tight. I actually did this the other day to clean this amp up and get the dust out of the fan and things like that. So. And as always, keep track of your screws and everything. All right, with those out, the other day I found out that it makes sense to pull off these 2 top corners. 4 Phillips screws a piece. And with that, pushing from the bottom, slides right out. All right, so there's your empty cavity. Here's the wire from the internal speaker. Good to go. So what you end up with is an amp without a top plate on it. And the cool thing is the top plate, these chassis are all the same size, so the top plates are interchangeable. Screw holes are in the exact same place. The difference is that there's a side plate here and here on the one from the combo. This and this plate need to come off and go onto the new head. And then the top plate from the new head can go onto this combo, head. And at that point, this is ready to go for me to put it up for sale. So really easy. The only kicker is that you see these are the regular screw holes. And then there's these. This is where the Allen heads that hold the head into the cabinet go into, and they are threaded for the screws, obviously, that held them in place. So what's going to end up happening is after I switch the top plates, these holes don't go through this front and rear shelf on this amp. And so I have to drill those out and thread them, which I may just do with the screws themselves, or I may find an identical screw in my bin of screws and use that to thread it. So we'll get to that part when we get to it. But for right now, let's go ahead and take these top plates off. And to do this, I'm going to use just a small Phillips screwdriver. It's probably like a number 1. And I'm gonna pull a paper towel here to put the screws on so they don't run away. So on the combo head, where I'm removing the 2 side plates, there's 5 screws per side plate. Okay, screws out. There's your side plate. This amp looks nice and clean. No cobwebs, no dust. There was some dust in the fan. I cleaned that out the other day, as I mentioned. But it's nice and quiet, and certainly worked well last night at band practice. So it's a good amp. All right. So side plate number 2. Nice. All right, let's pull the top plate off of the vintage head. And this is 12 screws, so the same 10 from the Combo Head II. And then 2 more right in the middle. These tiny little screws and this type of sheet metal, in my mind, tend to strip easily, and so that's why I'm not using a power drill to unscrew these, or nor will I use a power drill when I screw them back in. I'm going to make another video probably this weekend or maybe next weekend. I tend to like to build stands. So 12 out, here's your top plate. All right, so here is the vintage insides. Again, super clean. This is a 2023, so expected. There's a little bit of dust on the fan. I will clean that out, but the important part is here's your 12AX7 tube for the preamp, and it is in a base, so it looks like it's replaceable, but boy, there's not a lot of room in there. The other thing is they light this puppy up. There's 5 amber LEDs right here that shine through it so that you get that glow through here, and it actually comes through the sides and everything too. So kind of a cool effect, but a little cheesy. I know that the Bagheera tube amp does that as well, and probably some others. Anyway, so we'll come back to this one as far as getting it installed. But what I will show you briefly is that I'm going to go ahead and take the feet off, because those will go onto the combo head. Guitar Center sticker coming off. Okay, and so once I get those side slots on the side plates, you can see they line up right in the same holes. All I'm going to need to do is drill and tap a hole here and here on both sides. But just for kicks, see it slides right in. So that's going to be pretty awesome. Excited. Markbass did a nice deed for those of us who are into modifications like this. So first things first, let's get this combo amp buttoned up. I'm going to go ahead and put the feet on that I just took off of the vintage. So feet are on, and we're going to put the top plate on. It's symmetrical, so pick a side any side. And now you get to sit back while I very, very interestingly put 12 screws back in. A little bit more. Some of these are very tight. And then I'll take 2 from over here, because we have 10 instead of 12 on one of them. Okay. They look like they're the same. All right, there we go. We've got a combo head. Excuse my attire, I just got back from the gym, and the reason I'm out here in the garage is so I can cool off. Figured I'd get something done while I was doing it. Good to go. All right, so the next thing I need to do is get these holes drilled. and tapped. And I need to remind myself, I should have paid attention, if they are, so they're closer to these holes, as I suspected, but I don't want to get it wrong. So they're closer to the inside. Oh, that makes sense, because there's some foam material here that goes along the outside, I assume, for some noise damping. So yeah, okay. So I'm gonna get those lined up with the screw holes and just use a marker to the next order of business is to figure out if I have a, what I think is 3mm screw that can be used as a tap. So I'm gonna pause the video, I'll be back. Okay, so I have a drill bit that is just big enough for that hole. And I found a couple of 3mm screws that I can use as taps. I don't have a tap. I have a couple taps, but they're bigger than this. You can find these in all the screws that came with your flat panel wall TV mounts. Guarantee there's some of these in there. So the metal shavings from drilling off the components as much as possible. So I'm going to, this is old tape, but it'll work. I'm going to basically put this tape upside down, stick it to the sides here, and catch the stickiness as much as I can of the drilled out material. I guess I'll try one before anything else. So get the drill. Oh my gosh, there's a hole there already. Wow, that's a surprise. Let's see if it's threaded, if it's tapped. Oh, that's cool. Let's just pull this back. There's this kind of foam dampening material. I don't know if it's tapped or not. Wow, how about that? There's a hole there. There's a hole there, and there's a hole there. Just saved us a little bit of time. Put the drill bits away. The question is it tapped? And I can't really tell. I can't tell. I want to get this foam material out of the hole. It doesn't feel like it is, so I'm going to see if I can make this screw into a tap. Yes, sir. So if I take, so all I did was basically hold it very steady and put good pressure on the drill. Oh, perfect. Okay. Life is good. Life is good. Now, we did catch some material on the tape, so I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna keep that out as much as we can. Let's go to the next one. Same piece of tape I'll do here. It's right next to the fan, so there's not really much electronics going on over here. All right. Yep, there's the hole there. So the holes are there. Just got to find a I think it's a 3mm screw. What I did to verify it was I took the screw that I found and just threaded it through here to make sure that it worked cleanly on that thread. All right, so we're done with those. Back you go into the huge drawer of flat panel TV extra hardware. Okay, so let's get these mounted. I'm going to use the manual screwdriver. I'm going to make sure I keep all my screws together. See what happens. Okay. And I'll just use one of these to feel when I get deep enough for the hole. There it is. Oh yeah. Now that's the top plate. It may be a little challenging to get it through the new holes. Under the top plate. Let's go ahead and get them all started. Go ahead and plug this in. Plug the speaker in while I'm back here. Grab my Allen and let's see. Yeah, it's definitely a little resistance, but honestly, I probably could have not drilled the hole through with the temporary screw. I probably just could have done this, but we're all learning. Gonna face a little resistance here, but it's definitely going. Snug it down nicely. Okay. I do wish these cabinets were Tolex. I've built a couple of cabinets. Oh, I think I was telling you about, I like to build stands, and especially with these, I'd like to get them up about another 8 inches off the ground. And so we've got a bunch of home construction around here, so I'm gonna go find some 5/8 or 3/4 inch plywood scrap and build a box that's identical width and depth for these cabinets, and probably 8 inches high or so. And then I always come up with some fun things to do on those stands, so I have some ideas. make a video out of that. All right, we are in business. The Vintage combo is mounted. The speaker is plugged in. And that's it. So it's really nothing to it. I just did this in 40 minutes after I got home from the gym. So you could do it on a lunch break or an evening and have whatever Markbass amp you want that fits that same size profile in your 121 or 151 combo. All right, I'm just gonna put these corners back on and good luck.